Hi everyone, welcome to phase 2 of organizing your elementary Google Classroom. Last Wednesday I made a video for phase 1. It is the easiest content to work through. This phase 2, again, it depends on who you are. This content could be brand new, could be pretty difficult, could be pretty easy, straightforward, and things that you're very familiar with. So this video is for most likely for those who are pretty familiar or things that are pretty straightforward to you. Or this could be the video that if we couldn't make our meeting time work, I created this video then for us to do kind of this session together, and then a Q&A to follow up. So get back in touch with your grade level chair regarding when that Q&A might be. But the first phase was really getting to like the organizational pieces of Google Classroom and just kind of changing some settings in the back end to make life a little bit easier for yourself and for your students. Phase 2 is a little bit more about clear directions. So these are small changes that you'll have to do more than likely each time you make a new assignment or you make something new on Google Classroom. So essentially, these are small changes that you'll make long term that we hope will become kind of habitual after some time. But they are small changes that will ultimately make a big, clear difference. So there are 4 items on the top of our list. There are now 5 more items here, so that's why we begin here at number 5. Here are the things that we want to do to kind of have these clear directions. Firstly, we want to either date our assignments or number them, and ideally we want to use icons to kind of further pictorially label them, using images to label them. We want to limit the number of resources per day, and we want to make sure that we're linking each and every one. We want to make sure we're adding due dates and times as needed. We want to change classroom Gmail settings to make life just a little bit better for all of us. And we want to make sure that we turn on Guardian invites. So first video is just going to jump in. It's going to start in the back end. But the first thing we're going to think about is creating a new assignment and all the little changes that we're going to do to make it a little clearer for our directions. So firstly, like you see me doing in the video there, the first thing I did was I dated the assignment. So this is our assignment for 11/5. They're going to complete this on 11/5, and so that's why you see our date there. You also could number your assignments. I've seen people do that, maybe in the elementary more specifically, where they have like the very first assignment for the year is 001, and then 002, 003, and continuing forward. And that sometimes makes it even easier to say that you didn't do number 17, and you go find number 17 for the kiddos. The other thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you're linking each resource that you want the kiddos to work through. So like if you wanted them to go to Clever, for example, to find Edgenuity, for you guys, you would be doing Edgenuity, but it'd be Clever to find like Moby Max or something else. You still want to put that link to Clever to help further reinforce that that's how they're going to find that resource is through Clever. The other thing that you want to do is if you want them to work on something in the Google land, which is what you just saw me do, and I'm actually going to pause the video there so I can show you. If you want them to do something in Google land, like for example, they're doing answering some questions on a Google slide or something like that, you want to make sure that you're selecting this make a copy for each student, just because that makes life so much easier as opposed to the kiddos having to go through and make a copy themselves. This is you essentially making Google make a copy for them, so that all they have to do is open up Google Classroom, click on their name, and it pops them right into that assignment. And that can just make life a lot easier. So that make a copy for each student might be something you're very familiar with, might be something you already do, it might not be. The other piece is back to maybe adding in these images for assignments. This is Emojipedia. You can get to it just like I did by typing in emojipedia.org. And you can search for different emojis. And then you can copy and paste them in the title of your assignment. And that can further indicate to the kiddos, just with a very quick visual, what they're doing that day. So if they're doing, something on the computer, you can have a little computer assignment. If they're doing something with a pencil, if they're handwriting something, you have a pencil icon, just something, again, visual to make life a little bit easier and just make the directions a little more clear right from the get of what they're going to work on that day. The other piece over here is that you want to make sure you're adding in these due dates and due times. And that's what you're going to see me do over on the side is I'm going to add a date and a time here for when I want this assignment to be done. So I'm working on this on, it's 11/5 is when we're doing this assignment. And so it's going to be due the next day. I've also made sure that I've added in a topic there so it can sort itself properly in that classwork section on Google Classroom. So that was a number of small tasks that we just did in that video, but essentially the point being that all of those tasks add up to making really clear, really simple directions, and that's what you're going to see here. We have our due date, our due time, we have our date in the beginning of the title where we're going to be able to know when exactly we work on it. We have our icon to have another easy visual, just making life in general a bit easier for us. So if we can get into that habit of adding in all of those pieces, that will ultimately make life just, a little more manageable going forward. It's just going to be very clear to our kiddos what they're doing, what day, when it's due, and it's going to be just easy to find and easy to understand.